to another episode of At Your Big Age. I am your host, Dionne.
Yes, I've zoned out there for a second. I'm Fisher, as always. Mr. Fisher.
How are you, Fish?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm all right, not bad.
This episode is going to be slightly different in that there have been 3 sets of footage and images that we've seen this week that I find quite troubling. And I think it's bothered me in particular just because of how close these situations were together and the fact that they primarily involved teenagers. So the first incident that occurred was of a young lady who left the town of Royston in Hertfordshire, travelled down to Dulwich in South London and attacked another girl quite viciously. So she was stabbed, she was beaten, she had hot water thrown over her, and she, was quite...
She travelled that far?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she also threw a picture of her mum who'd passed away.
Yeah, she cut up the picture of her mum.
And, it was quite shocking now. So, trigger warning, I'm going to show a short clip of the footage for you to see if you haven't seen it.
You're bleeding. Apologise, yeah? Sorry. Fuck anyone's man again, and I'll kill you next time. On my mum's life. Fuck your dead mum. Suck your dead mum. Fuck that bitch. She running in the fucking air. Fuck Ebony's mum. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Don't ever play with me again, bitch. Next time I run up in the yard and kill your ass, clock. Dumb bitch.
Okay, I'm going to
find the sliders now. Find it now. No, you want to embarrass me. So
I'm not trying to embarrass you, princess. I'm not trying to.
Hi, guys. So I'm in Ebony's house. Mrs. Fuck People's man, and think that she can get away. Money go.
Did Hunter tell you that?
Money go. Money go. Money go. Don't fucking piss me off. Don't piss me off. What? Ebony, don't piss me off. Ebony, don't fucking piss me off. Ebony, don't piss me off. You fuck Huncho. You tried to fuck Huncho. Ebony, take the fucking duvet off. I've got a knife right on my hand right now. Ebony, don't piss me off. Okay. Ebony.
So, Kieron, after seeing that, what were your immediate thoughts?
I try and do this whole thing and don't swear. So my immediate thoughts are I'm not going to say it. These kids are wilding, man. I don't even know what to say to it. You're not well. If that's what you're doing, A, to do it, and B, to film yourself doing it, and then send it to people.
Yeah, because it looks like it was on Snap or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
So you've done it, and with the intent, you've done all that with the intention of people seeing it. I mean, doing it full stop is bad. So it's not like it makes it any better. You don't show anybody, but your thought process, your brain's not working, man, because there's no sense in that. It doesn't make any sense, and then you get arrested.
Yeah.
So then, and then you're gonna say, "What? Oh, I didn't do it." Allegedly.
Well,
like throwing that word around, even though there's footage of things allegedly.
I mean, I saw a follow-up post where she had basically said that, and I'm going to paraphrase, but she basically kind of said, I don't play about when it comes to my friends, my family, or my man, and there are going to be no vios or violations in 2023. Now, for me, this is someone I'm going to assume probably has some serious anger issues. I can only assume perhaps that she's quite troubled, maybe in her home life, growing up, or something like that. Because for you to, like when you might react out of anger.
Yeah, because it's normal to. You think,
right?
Yeah. You're human. Everyone does it.
Right. So the level of violence that you do on someone in that instant, it's never okay, but...
Yeah, it's not, it never goes...
Right. Now, for me, the fact that whenever you found out that this girl had allegedly slept with your boyfriend, you had to take in that information, process it.
Buy a train ticket.
Or, yeah, because she's 18, is she really sticking to drive? But let's say she drove down from Hertfordshire to South London.
It's
still a drive. Now, in that whole entire journey, somewhere, some sense should have kicked in. Or where are your peers?
Sometimes the peers are as bad as... A lot of the times it's peers that will throw extra fuel on it and make the fire...
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now...
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you have to be very measured. You got to be measured in what you're saying. But it's a lot, man. Because
right, so we are parents. We're both old enough to have an 18-year-old, and as much as she's 18, she's classed as an adult. For me, she's an adult child. Now, as a parent, if you've now watched this video back of your daughter behaving like this, how can you not somehow turn this back on yourself and be like, where did I go wrong?
Yeah, but there will be people that will do that because they can see their failings in things. But there will be others that will be like, it's got nothing to do with me because she's 18. So because she's 18, she's decided to go and do that. That's on her. It's got nothing to do with the 17 years prior or whatever's happened before, or whatever she's seen, or whatever she's been allowed to do up until that point. Because she's an adult, she's going to say it absolves them of any kind of responsibility. Yeah, of any kind of responsibility. When in actual fact, it's probably a lot to do with whatever start they had. Yeah. In some cases. In some cases not, but a lot of the time, yeah. Sometimes it's learned behaviour, innit?
Yeah. And like again, allegedly, I don't know if this is actually hers, but someone also posted a poem that she wrote titled Rage. And in this short poem, she talks about how rage kind of consumes her. So we're looking at a very angry young woman who is quite reactive. And, and the fact that she mentioned, no vios or no violations will be tolerated in 2023. To me, it sounds like a very broken child. But what I found interesting, before I had this whole thought process and, immediately upon seeing it, I was a bit like, did you give the man this energy?
Of course she didn't. And her friend at that, it was her friend. You don't treat your friends like that.
Yeah,
Wild.
I think, like for me growing up, do you remember the song that went, "Me's a girl, me a fight over a man. I'm a little bit I just saw me tan." You see, me, never in life, even up until this point, would you ever catch me getting into an altercation with another woman.
Over a dude.
Over a guy.
Ever.
I'm not being funny, but for me, I've just got a bit too much pride.
That was a cardinal sin still. Because even if I look back, the times that girls have fought over a dude, even as guys, we'd be like, later, you lot should be fighting over a guy. This is what? Nah.
It doesn't.
Go beat him up.
Right. It doesn't make sense. And unfortunately now, I think she's been charged with GBH. I think theft.
Yeah.
And there was something else she's been charged with. There's 3 charges at the moment. Now, as an 18-year-old woman, you've now essentially thrown away a good portion of your life. I mean, she probably won't get that long, in fairness, unless they try to make an example of her.
Well, they probably will because she provided the footage.
Yeah.
If you're showing that to a jury, the jury's gonna be like, "Oh my god, I've never seen such levels of violence in my life."
And like the screams were horrific to hear.
Wilding, man. It was. But you know what? Most 18-year-olds now, I'm gonna say they're tapped because I don't really like that, but they lack like reasoning. They don't think about, and you know what, I'll even take it further back from maybe 10 and up. Like they'll do something and you ask them, why did you do that? I don't know. What do you mean? So like and I don't know where it's come from. I'm not going to blame drill and I'm not going to blame this because it's probably a lot of things. So to pick out one is just simplifying it.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of different factors. But yeah, we when we hit, because obviously these kids, these 18-year-olds, they're going to end up as adults. You see, when we hit our 60s and 70s, if you lot think this is bad now, listen, I'm telling you.
See, I don't
If
know.
you
I
lot
feel
think
like
it's-
we're.
Nah,
I feel
we're
like
not gonna turn the corner.
do you know what? I feel like we are already there.
Nah, we're not.
Like I remember when I was like, when I was like 10, 11, yeah, and younger, and I used to go to like the summer play schemes in Lambeth, right? And I remember my first incident of a stabbing, and the boy was 15. He came to our summer scheme. This was Dick Shepherd days. And he got stabbed by somebody.
Where?
I think just outside the...
Where on his body?
I can't remember.
He didn't die though.
I don't know, he didn't die.
Okay.
He didn't die.
Right.
Now, that was like shockwaves. That was like, oh my God, never been heard of for a child. And we're talking about 1990.
Yeah. But there was shock there.
3. Right. Now, from that point, it was a bit quiet until maybe I got to about 15, 16. And then the rate of it started to increase, yeah? And then obviously, we had like the gun violence in the clubs and that kind of stuff, 2000s. Lovely time that was. But my thing now is that, well, those people have now become parents.
Yeah, and these are some of their kids.
This is what I'm saying to you. So when you're saying, is it bad now? I feel like we're already there.
No, because these kids are going to have kids. It gets worse every single time. It gets worse. It gets worse because you've been parented by someone that wasn't give you boundaries and didn't kind of do anything to kind of curb your behavior, yeah? So now you've gone on to be 16, 17, 18 and you're wilding, yeah? So now you lack reasoning skills. So you're going to have a child or children and you're not going to give them anything, so they're going to end up worse than you. So that when I'm telling you, and the beauty of technology, I'll be 75 and tell you, listen, that clip.
Remember that episode?
When everyone's locked and there's helicopters and we're living like it's some post-apocalyptic RoboCop. I'm making light of it, but this is the truth. I'll be able to say to you, listen, remember when I said what I said? Find it, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be 10 times worse. 10 times. This is nothing. It's bad. A lie? It's bad. But and the thing that makes it doubly worse as well, they were always bad people. They were always bad kids, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But they would have sense to not do things that are going to get them caught.
Yes.
These lot don't care.
They don't care.
So they will film themselves. It's not even stabbings, it's robbing, beating someone up, drink driving, doing a balloon at a steering wheel. Like, they'll film themselves doing it, driving 100 and odd miles an hour down the road, film there. And then, yeah, man, I'm telling you, these kids are wilding. And it's getting to the point where I'm not even shocked anymore. Like, I see stuff now, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I think we become so desensitized.
Like you wake up on a Monday, all right, cool. She went to the, she stabbed her. Oh wow, all right, cool. What's that? What, this is Monday. What's happening Tuesday? Like I went into 2023 expecting to wake up on the 2nd.
With some
kind of
madness, yeah.
Madness happened, like someone gets shot somewhere. You're like, oh, for real? Look at the shooting outside the church.
Yeah.
That didn't shock me. The first thing I said to myself was, I wonder who was getting buried.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Whose funeral service was that?
Like, you know, like even with that, you know, like there's nothing that's sacred anymore. Like, what would make you shoot outside a church?
What would make you drive or travel from wherever Shire to South London to go to? Remember if someone came to your house before, and again it would happen. But if someone
they'd walk around from around the corner.
But if someone come to your house, you know how big a deal that was. If someone comes to you,
It's
you're
a
coming to my
massive deal.
drum.
It's a massive deal.
Like you'd go to school on the weekend. Say, I had an argument with such and such on Friday. I went to their drum. Everyone would be like, you went to their house?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's a massive
Like,
violation.
who was there? What, their mum? No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Now, there's no rules. They just, it's blah. And then you ask them why they did it. You violate, such and such violated. I'm not having it. I'm not taking any kind of violation. You think I'm this? Mad. And this is the tip of the iceberg. Because it's funny, because when we were growing up, they said it was going to be bad when we were adults, and they were right. Yeah? They were right. They were bang on when they said what they were saying when we were teenagers coming up. They were bang on. So I'm saying now, it's going to get worse. So what we're seeing here is nothing compared to the stuff that's coming. Yeah, compared to the stuff that's coming, it's nothing.
All right. Well, do you know what? We'll talk about maybe how we can remedy this towards the end. Right. So the second clip and bit of footage I saw this week. Well, it was an Instagram post of a mother who was basically explaining. I'll put it up on the screen shortly. But she was basically explaining that she'd caught her son with one of these ridiculously big size knives, right? Rambo knife. She took it from him. He then smashed up the house, threatened her and her other children. I think he did the same again when she found another one, and again he was, going on with very threatening behaviour. So she essentially, basically, you might as well say, handed him into the police.
Yeah.
So, so this was sent to me, but one of the first things I want to touch on is the fact that, because we were speaking about parents in the last discussion, right?
Yeah.
Now, they have obviously taken this information from her Instagram, and somebody has taken a screenshot of her. As you can see, she was dressed quite provocatively. Now, my first thing is so we're now taken away from the action that she thought was best for her child.
And we're focusing on her.
And we're now focusing on how she is dressed. Now, quite clearly, she looked like she was going out.
And plus, she's a young mum, I'm assuming.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
so how she is dressed in that picture, how does that attribute to her ability to parent?
You know what it is, though? Is sometimes it's easier to you look for an excuse to not have a conversation that might make you uncomfortable. So there'll be people that look at that are having similar conversations in their house with their kids. They don't really know how to deal with it, or they're not dealing with it and they're not bothered. But they're looking at her, and their first instinct is to say, well, look at how she's dressed. Because maybe they're not sure why their kids are acting up, because they go to work and they do whatever and they're there, but their kids are doing whatever. So now they'll look at her and say, well, that's the reason why. The reason why. So my kids aren't as bad as hers because I don't dress like that. I don't dress like that. Yeah. So you just look, instead of having the conversation, we're saying, look, I'm seeing a lot of similarities between what's going on in my house to what she's talking about. So we need to have a conversation before what's happening over there happens here. But instead, you'll dust it under and we do this a lot. Yeah. I don't want to say black community, but this is the community we're from.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say black community. probably happens in others, but I'm not a part of others. But
Yeah.
we do this a lot where our kids are involved in stuff and we make a lot of excuses. Because even I do it. Like, my kids aren't bad. But sometimes they do things and I will make excuses because they're your kids, isn't it? But there's got to be a line where
you have to draw.
and she did that.
And she did that. So let's talk about that, because like when I saw it, I was like, I felt a bit conflicted because I was like trying to put myself in her shoes. And I think, you know, the ego within the parent, you want to believe that you have a hold, or do you know what I mean? Like, your child might be bad, but in your mind somewhere you still think that actually I can remedy this situation. And perhaps this is an issue that a lot of parents do have, in a sense of they think they can, or like you say, they might just bury their heads in the sand because it's now gone too far. Do you think she did the right
100%.
thing by handing him in?
100%. I would do the exact same thing.
What do you think, Em?
Sorry, I was reading her email. I wasn't even conversation.
So basically, a mother handed her son into the police, and he's now in a high secure unit because he was in possession of two
Big ass
Rambo knives. When she took them away, he threatened her, smash up the house.
So he's going to stab her up.
He's going to stab her up, stab up her other kids, yada, yada, yada. She handed him into the police. Do you think she did the right thing?
If that's the way he's behaving, then I have to say yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, no one's...
Normally I would be like, parents should do that to their kids, but if that's the way your kid's going on, then
You ain't got a choice.
what choice do you have? That's your child.
You ain't got a choice.
It's either you hand them into the police or you kill them yourself.
Yeah, or wait for them to do something to you. Yeah. Or something to somebody else.
There's not really much you can do in that kind of situation.
It's wilding. And then you got to think, she's got how many other kids? Even if it's one, you've got somebody else
Yeah.
that you have to be responsible for. So it's like a cancer. You got to cut the cancer out, innit? Otherwise, it's going to infect everything. Yeah, you got to send him, make them deal with him. You done your bit, make them deal with him. Yeah. Otherwise, your kid will either mad you or murder you.
Yeah. You know, like I was looking at obviously the video of him, and he's smoking weed, and we know how impressionable the mind is at that age, and obviously the weed isn't like the weed back in the day either.
Nothing's like it was back in the day.
I can only imagine what it's doing to the minds of children that age who are very impressionable.
How old was he? 16.
I feel like 15 or 16, something like that. Do you know what I mean? So he clearly has anger issues. I would probably even go as far to say that there's going to be some slight mental health issues there as well, because for you to react like that towards your mum and your siblings and to smash up the house, something is very much going on there. And I kind of wonder whether any kind of interventions prior to it getting to this actually happened.
Do you see what I'm saying about reasoning? See what I'm saying about not having because a sensible, not sensible, but someone who has some kind of reasoning skill will look at their mum and know that you're not supposed to put hands on anybody really, but your mum,
Yeah.
you're going to tell your mum you're going to cut her, your mum, and you've thought that thought before it's come out your mouth,
It's wild.
and nothing in your head has said, nah, you know what, I shouldn't be saying that. Yeah, way too far left. Reasoning. I'm telling you, it's a theme throughout. They lack reasoning and lack critical thinking and common sense. Yeah?
But I don't know. To me, it also, because the thing is, in this situation, you know, like it's hard because you don't have the backstory. You don't know what went on in the house.
Don't think you need it.
Well, no, I think you do. No. Hear me out. The reason why I say I feel like you do is because, like, for example, I didn't see anyone asking about where his dad was. Yeah. And moreover, it's like, well, assuming she's a single parent and she doesn't have maybe the support, maybe she's been busting her ass working, she has him, she has younger children, so maybe she just hasn't been able to be there as much as she could have done. But we don't know. We're not going to know how much time or input she could have had. Do you know what I mean? So with that being said, I don't think it's always fair to blame parents given the state of the economy and people having to do 2, 3, 4 jobs. And,
100%, because there are people that are doing 2, 3, 4 jobs and their kids aren't wilding. So
do you understand what I'm saying? So now I'm going to make an assumption just because of her Instagram name. I'm going to assume she's probably from a Jamaican background. I mean, we can talk about hitting kids another day, but like in extreme cases, for example, where you're physically disciplining your kids, this can actually be the knock-on effect because the rage that builds up within them because they're being beaten ridiculously because of the parents' own frustration. This is an example of the type of behavior that you can see this is the type of, situation that you can see as a result of that. I personally think she did the right thing, especially in order to protect herself and her younger children. I think I almost just wish that we had the resources, we had, maybe more men to mentor younger.
To be honest, I don't think it. Some of these kids they're not going to pay attention to it. They don't care. They're not going to pay attention to mentoring. I think that's a dated.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the mentors these kids have now they're not. Like, see, when we were coming up, footballers maybe, you might have a cool teacher that was from wherever and just dressed a certain way. You'd have an epiphany, like you'd have some kind of thing with, or someone from some kind of background. Now, unless you can, these kids' mentors are like drill rappers, and they're not even like drug dealers and that anymore. Do you know what I mean? Before you'd look up to the local dealer. Now they're looking up to rappers and influencers and that. So unless
but haven't we always?
Nah, not on this level. Nah, these people are looking, and this is back to social media as well. It's made it so accessible for you to get close to somebody that's got 1.5 million followers. Yeah, I can see what you're doing. I can talk to you every day. I can communicate with you. We couldn't communicate with our Shadow and the Gladiators and Philip Schofield and all these kind of people that we see on TV. We couldn't communicate with them.
Yeah, true.
So these kids are communicating with them. So unless you're, as a mentor, coming in and understanding that, or you're from that, and if some of these influencers want to come and start mentoring kids, that'd probably be a good shout. Yeah, because they'd get through. Because this is the economy now, isn't it? If you're not a mentor and you're not a musician, even footballers don't get a look in too tough anymore. If you're not a mentor, if you're not an influencer and you're not a rapper, these kids are not listening to you. Yeah, even if you're a mentor that's got 200,000 followers. Furthermore, if you're a person that's got 200,000 followers and you're looking for something to do that is going to enrich your life, go and be a mentor, because I guarantee they will have a bigger impact on half of these kids than the majority of teachers in their school. And that's not knocking teachers, because there are some brilliant teachers, but they're just not engaged. They don't care. How can you tell me what I should do when you don't have
what is that I want? Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have more followers than me. Have you not seen? There's a skit where there's some people going and asking kids, what would you rather have, £1 million?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Or 1 million followers? And I swear the majority of the kids said 1 million. I take the million.
Yeah.
What?
Because they felt like they could make. They felt like they could make more money having 1 million followers. But I was watching. I was thinking, well, little do you know, because I remember a couple of years ago there was that influencer who had either 1 million or 3 million.
Didn't make no money.
She launched these T-shirts and whatever, and she sold 2.
Yeah, she didn't make no money. It's not guaranteed.
But people
think that having the followers are just having the followers, but
what are they following you for? And it goes back again to reasoning. And this is the problem. So the mentoring thing, that worked when we were kids. It's not. It's. I don't know how.
You see, when I say mentors, I'm talking about, men who have maybe been on road, or they're
because they're not. Nah, they're not.
or do you know what I mean? Or who were the rappers before the drill artists?
But they weren't big, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, for real.
You got people that live around the corner that have got like 1 million followers. There's not 1 million followers in the borough.
Yeah,
You haven't, do you know what I mean? In some boroughs, there's not even 1 million people.
True.
Yeah,
Very true.
They've got like 1/7 of London's population or whatever it is following them. So unless you're gonna, they've got more power over the kids than a lot of us parents have, and this is so real. They've got more power over our kids than we have, and a lot of the teachers have, and that's a fact. That's a fact.
And that's a scary fact.
So, and again, it's going to get worse because. Yeah, I'm telling you. And you're talking like, just to compare it to some American artists. There's American artists who've got like 124 million followers. Let some of these, if anyone here gets past 10, any of these rappers, you can't tell your kids nothing because that's who they're listening to. Because Dad, you got 2,000 followers. He's got 10 million. So he's obviously doing something right.
Right, yeah.
So I'm going to listen to him. I'm not listening to you. I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you. They'll do foolishness.
Yeah, well, literally.
I slapped them. Imagine. Imagine. You'd be like, because you got reasoning skills. You'd be like, no, that's mad. I'm not doing that.
So
That's madness.
Okay, so then, as parents, why are we not teaching our children reasoning skills then?
But you know what? You can't. You have to. If you weren't doing it in the beginning, you can't just introduce it now. These are things that we'll learn
Over time
from young, innit? You can't just bring it in now and say it's like trying to teach you to walk differently. How you walk is how you walk. This is how you learn to walk. That's how you walk.
I mean, do you know what it is? I'm gonna struggle to accept that nothing can be done though.
I'm not saying nothing can be done. I'm at a loss as to what can be done. And anything that starts now, we're not gonna see the benefits of it. Right now, we'll see it after it goes horribly wrong and it starts coming down. You say, okay, now it's started calming down a little bit. Now we can see when we've got a 6-month, 7-month period where nothing happens. Then when something happens, you're like, raw, it's been a while since someone got stabbed. That's when you know that you know what I mean? But it's going to be a long while. That's not happening for now.
You know what I was saying to my brethren the other day? Like something like Instagram. When Instagram came out, adults mainly had it. As time goes on,
The younger lot get it.
the younger lot are having it. So the younger they are having it, the more the younger ones are trying to impress everyone.
Yeah.
So until that wave is gone,
Yeah. Nothing going to change. And then when it does change, there'll be another app like TikTok.
So imagine being 9 years old competing with people on the internet. That's what they're going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
People competing with people that you might see.
Yeah.
They grew up around the corner from you.
The bravery levels are different.
Yeah.
Talk shit to anyone on the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
But when you see them face to face,
It's different.
you don't know who you're arguing with. You don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. It's different, man.
Go sideways. So I think until that wave is over with, I don't think anything can.
Nothing's going to change.
But it doesn't matter what you teach your child.
No.
If that's just what children are doing at that time, and that's what they're into, you're going to get drawn into it.
100%.
I don't think any amount of parents is going to change that. Your child actually getting involved in it. They may change as they grow older, but I don't feel like with me and my daughter, I just try to keep her off everything.
Yeah.
I think that's the best. That's the best way. That's the best way.
I just tell her when you reach a certain age and I feel like you can maneuver properly,
Yeah.
And you can have it. Yeah, I feel like that's what I should have done. I should have done that with my youngest.
Yeah.
I should have blatantly done that with my youngest. I didn't do that. That's the best way to do it. No phone, no socials, nothing. Yeah. If you
What age though are you talking?
I'm talking second. You got a phone. The phone makes phone calls in and phone calls out.
Oh, okay, right. I see.
There's no WhatsApp. There's no nothing. That's all it is. WhatsApp. That's all it is. Because everything else.
it gets technical, man.
Yeah.
Too much
It's too much.
accessible and
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
it's exposed to everything. It's a bit crazy.
It's true. And then you find yourself trying to act retrospectively to try and go backwards now, to try and undo everything.
Yeah. But I guess as a parent, how do you find the balance between, you know?
How do you? Because let's be honest, most parents don't have the time to be policing every single movement that their child's doing, because you've got to provide for your kids. You got to, and you got to have a life yourself.
And you want to obviously, you know, you don't want to micromanage your kids
No, you
like
don't.
that. You know, you want them to be able to spread their wings to a certain extent, but also be there as the
buffer.
You know, to kind of contain them a bit.
So yeah, it's a lot, man. I don't know.
It's still new. That's what we got to remember.
Yeah.
Adjustments are still being made.
Yeah.
Something we're used to yet.
It's not, and we've had it for 20 odd years now. We have this is not, the social media thing's not really new to us, but to them it's new, and what they're doing with it is new because they're monetizing it and doing
every day. Yeah. So the final disturbing video that I saw this week, gosh, I think it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yesterday. Was of a school kids beating up a young black girl. But what made it even more heinous was that the mother of the girls was there literally coaching her daughter throughout the whole thing. That's it, Lily. Punch her in the face.
Do it again. Do it again. Yeah, it's wild.
I'll just put a brief clip up of that now for you to see.
Get up there! Get my phone! That's it, Margaret! That's it! Take the head, punch the face off her! Punch her face and kick, get her head beat off the floor! Beat her off the floor! That's it, get up, Margaret, that's it! Pull it back, Kelly! That's it! Kick her in the face! Dodie! Grab her head!
So, where do we go with this?
Learn behaviour. This is kids will fight, yeah? It's standard. I don't think there's ever been a time, I haven't had that many fights, but to see myself fighting and have my mum or my dad coaching me through a fight like it's something that's happening in Wembley on Sky Sports is wild.
Very wild.
At no point did this woman come and say, you know what? But then you know what? There's a few. It's not just her, because there were a few adults there, and none of the adults got involved, and that for me was madness.
Yeah, for the cars that stopped,
like it was just standard. Four
and
people, three people rushing the girl.
Yeah,
one of them was 11. Like you got 10 because they all got nicked. 10, 11, 42-year-old male, the mum and somebody else. I think they're looking for the fifth person, or 5 people are looking for the 6th. But imagine, you're getting arrested with your mum for beating up someone outside your school with your little sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man. That whole, and you know what? I hope all of them get the book thrown at them.
But do you know what's unfortunate about that particular set of people, family,
yeah,
is that probably likely within their community they're going to get a
pat on the back, probably. Yeah, probably.
Pat on the back for that one.
Probably.
And it's very hard for me to not believe that this was racially aggravated either.
You did feel a little bit.
Because for me, I didn't see, from what I saw, I didn't see any other ethnic minorities around. And everyone that was around did nothing.
Even when the teacher came on some, oh no, stop. After about 3 minutes, it felt like. Then came over with some hand on shoulder type stuff. Not like there was, that got me mad. I couldn't even watch it all anyway.
I've watched it all. And to be honest, I didn't realise until about, because someone sent it to me, I didn't realise about 45 seconds in that the child was black.
Yeah, because you couldn't see him.
I couldn't see.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And then when I saw that, I was like, wow.
Oh.
Now, what kind of parent are you, or do you have to be for you?
A crap one. Let's be honest. Let's have it right. You know what it is? Some people shouldn't have kids in it. That was a example of someone that shouldn't have had any form of children, because you can't.
You don't do that.
No,
as a
you
parent.
can't. I can't even verbalize it without effing and blinding. But you can't, like, because you're mad. That's the kind of thing. If that's my kid, I'm mashing up. And I'm going to sound ignorant because violence don't beget violence sometimes. But if that's my child and you've done that, and you as a parent are standing there egging on you, every adult in your family is getting beat up just for the sake of me being ignorant. No? Because if I'm there, even if I see two kids fighting that aren't my kids,
yeah,
I'm yeah, you're gonna break it, especially if there's 4-on-1. You're like, no, allow this. What's going on here? But you're gonna stand there and watch your picnic mash up my picnic, and then tell me what? Because everybody's getting. Even some of the school teachers would have got it.
Yeah,
everybody.
I saw someone. The page that I saw it on. I saw a comment from a woman that said, "Well, you know, to be honest, I think it's fair enough because." From what it sounded like, that girl was bullying her daughter. And I was like, babe, no. Like, kids bully kids, unfortunately. And the thing is, like you said earlier, kids are going to fight.
Yeah, they're going to fight.
But that's between the kids.
If that's what it was, you could have just said, I'm not even going to say that,
but
there's too much people beating that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But have you ever been to Ashford?
No.
Have you ever been to Ashford? Yeah. There's a little bit of a undertone in Ashford still. So so even if when I saw where it was, I wasn't surprised.
It's Ashford.
Ashford.
I thought it was Hertfordshire.
No, it's Ashford.
No, Middlesex.
Yeah, Ashford. It's Ashford, isn't it? Yeah, it's Ashford.
Oh, it's Ashford, okay.
Near Feltham, that up them sides. Yeah. It's a bit up there. It's a very kind of.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant Ashford in Kent.
No, it's a definite. Double check it, but I'm pretty sure it's up them sides, like Feltham way and that. Right. It's very kind of. There's a whole. My brother used to live up there. It's very, guys. It's very. People will look at you and call you.
N-word?
Yeah.
No.
What do you mean?
Really?
Standardly.
That's kind of wild for this day.
It's not wild. It's not because of course there are.
No. I'm not saying there isn't, but I wouldn't think anywhere like Felton.
What?
Really?
Listen, because you know what it is? Because we live where we live sometimes, we forget things that happen. Like you go Chelsea on football day. We're going off topic a little bit, but probably not because it's an overarching thing. But you go Chelsea on a match day and go in the wrong pub when Chelsea loses. Someone will call you a black bastard. It's fact, like
well, I'm not being funny. If you support Chelsea or clubs like Millwall in this day and age, that's your business, to be quite frank.
So there was definitely an element of, it felt very kind of, you lot just don't. It was any excuse to try and mash her up.
It's more shocking hearing that so much grown people were just standing around.
That was more shocking. If it was just kids fighting, you'd be like, yeah.
See the whole family egging on the kids doing whatever. Unfortunately, that doesn't sound wild to me. Shit like that happens. But all those adults watching.
Watching. Because who was filming it? Yeah. There was all commentary. But then to film that instead of stopping it, your first and this is another thing that's wrong with this half this and our generation does it too. The minute anything happens, your first instinct should not be to whip out your phone.
Yeah.
If your first instinct is to whip out your phone, if you're not already working for the BBC, you should probably go and apply, and you're part of the problem. Yeah, because half of these things, because the fact that we're so desensitized to half of this stuff is because we see it so often. Why do we see it so often? Because people fast up themselves to film it.
Yeah.
And share it so they can be the first person. Oh, I was there. I saw. You're not going to send the foot. They don't want to send the footage into the police because that's snitching. We're not going to snitch.
I snitched the other day.
We're not going to snitch.
I snitched.
We're not going to snitch.
Snitched.
I'm going to post it online because that's not snitching.
I snitched.
And the sense, there's no sense. Like you hold your head. What do you mean you snitched?
I snitched.
But you're supposed to. You're an adult.
Yeah. Well, no. There was an incident in the supermarket car park, and this, I think, Eastern European guy had a wrench that he was trying to attack a black bus driver with, but the bus driver was in
Driving
his
off,
car.
yeah.
So they were having, and the bus driver was just like,
Really?
and this guy is he's really going for it. People came and split it up. I didn't even record at that point because I was just watching, and then they got split up. The guy's now driven off. Bear in mind, the Eastern European guy's got his wife and baby. The wife is putting the stuff in the car, and he's there waving around this wrench.
She's oblivious to it.
No, I think she used that he's just a little bit mad.
Yeah.
So then, like I said, the bus driver's car drove off, and a guy that had separated it had gone about his business, but he's now walking into the supermarket. The man jumps out of his car again and is going over to the guy that tried to break it up. So the guy's like, what are you... And he's like, oh, you this, you that, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was thinking, so I whipped out my phone because I just wanted to make sure that if he attacks him, at least I've got it.
Yeah.
So by the time I went into the supermarket, the police had turned up and the guy was trying to describe.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Yeah, I got a video of him.
Yeah. And I said...
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I said to him, you know, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm all right, blah, blah, blah. And then I said to him, look, I've got some footage of the guy. And the police like, can you send it in? So yes, I snitched.
Yeah, but that's the more bit. But then if you're whipping your phone out, that should be the only reason you whip out your phone. There are people that have got a whole library of stuff, a library of incidents that had nothing to do with them in their phone. Like worldwide stuff, people getting shot in Mexico, people getting this.
Yeah.
There's people that got a whole lot. You must have a big.
That's what I'm saying. The whole desensitizing.
Yeah. Normal. It's the norm. It's the norm. It's the norm. And that's the problem. That's one of the problems. Let me post this.
Oh, no.
And then they put... And they put for journalistic purposes. You're not a journalist. You're not a journalist. You're a PT, you're a bus driver, you're a this, you're a that. You're not a journalist. You're somebody with a phone that is trying to be fast to get your like count up.
And you know what? When people do that and they admit that's what they're doing it for, I like it. I don't like
Be honest.
Yeah.
For journalistic purposes. Journalistic purposes. Or to spread awareness. You see, anytime anyone spread awareness, your backside. Because when it matters, when things matter, you're not spreading awareness with that.
Yeah.
But when it's someone punching up somebody or someone stabbing someone, there are pages I could name
Yeah.
that started off with good intentions. The minute their number count's gone up, now the stuff they're showing now, you went from being someone that was trying to stop knife thing to every time someone gets stabbed, you're advertising it. Well, every time you're part of the problem now,
Yeah.
innit?
Yep.
And this is it because you want to get your like because you get addicted to popularity. You're adding to it. You're giving people a platform to show their nonsense on. They get hyped because they got a name now. And now your number count's going up, or everyone's trying to get a blue tick. Yeah. To get on the page. Yeah. It's madness.
Yeah.
All for the love of a blue tick. And these companies as well, they have to have a part to play in it as well, because you shouldn't. If I type something on something, it will get flagged instantly for sensitive. But if I post someone getting punched up or stabbed, it's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
The algorithm, the same algorithm that can spot a word, cannot spot violence.
But do you know what's interesting? So I think the page is called the Black Child Agenda, and they posted the video of the young girl getting beaten up. And Instagram kept taking it down. They kept taking it down.
Yeah. But everybody else is fine.
But everyone else is fine, though.
It's madness,
It
man.
doesn't make sense.
It's mad. It makes sense.
I mean, it does make sense.
It does make sense. It makes perfect sense.
But
It makes perfect sense.
it's not right.
Ignorance and nonsense is the currency now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not right.
In everything. It's nonsense.
I think we could likely have this discussion, and I'm really sad that we couldn't even touch on any kind of solutions.
We could do a whole episode on. There'll be another part to this where we just talk about solutions to the problem.
Yeah, shall we do that?
Yes.
Okay. We will do a follow-up episode where we talk about solutions.
We might get some people in.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. Or alternatively, if you go back into the Love Laid Bare archives, we go back to 2018. I've got some episodes. It's only on audio. We've got some episodes where we've spoken to teachers, people who work with young people, solicitors, the whole range of, in terms of solutions and how things are seen from different perspectives. So if you want to dig back, those episodes will be there. If you've been affected by anything that we've spoken about today, there are a list of resources on the Love Laid Bare website. So just go to www.lovelaidbare.com/resources. I'll put it in the show notes anyway. And there's a range of different support services there for you. I send my love and compassion out to all the people that have been affected by the violence that we saw today. And do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, but it's got a whole lot of F words in it, so I'm just going to allow it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, guys, well, thank you for joining us this week. We'll be back again next week. Don't forget to click subscribe and comment. If you have any solutions that you think are viable, drop them in the comments. Let's have a chat about it.
Peace.
Peace.